Do I just start?
It's preparing.
Got it. Hollis, let me know when we'll start and I will get going.
Do I select got it?
We are live.
Awesome.
Got it.
Okay, I heard a little feedback. Is that
We are live.
okay? So we're ready.
Okay. Well, one more minute. I've got one more minute. We'll give them one more minute to make sure that they're in. That's okay. All right. So we want to welcome you to our transition in meeting for rising ninth grade parents. As you know, we moved it from in-person to virtual due to what we're dealing with in an effort to keep everybody safe. So we are going to do the best that we can virtually, and hopefully we take care of all of your questions, your concerns, and give you a full presentation on the pathways, clubs, and activities, registration, so that you walk away from this meeting feeling confident that you and your student can complete the pathway form, as well as join clubs and activities, as well as do your registration. So at this time, I am going to introduce Mr. Willie Vincent, who is going to welcome you, and then we will move on past that back to me.
Good evening. We are just so excited to have the parents and students of the class of 2026 on board tonight. This is going to be a fun-filled evening, a lot of information. And again, you may at some points feel a little overwhelmed. That's fine. I feel overwhelmed. I'm here every day. So if you have any questions or concerns, to help alleviate some of that, you'll have access to our emails. So just sort of write down anything that you may be befuddled about, and we'll do our best to clear you up. So again, pay attention. And again, it's just going to be fun. We're so glad to have you here.
So one thing I want to say is, if you haven't found out, obviously you should have, the students' visits that we had planned that should have happened yesterday, we postponed and moved to February the 3rd. Unfortunately, once again, to keep the students and staff safe, we have postponed that again, to be determined. But do know we are going to do everything in our power to make this happen. What the students do is it's a great thing for them to be able to come over. They get a tour. We break them into smaller groups. They get a tour of the building. They get to see clubs and activities set up. They get to hear our band, chorus, and orchestra perform. They hear from our athletic director. So they get a great time at Midtown. However, with what we're dealing with, we're just trying to keep everybody safe. So please understand and be patient with us. No, we want to do this just as much as your students want to come to Midtown. So I am going to walk you through a couple of these slides, and then we will jump back to Mr. Vincent so that he can walk you through the most important part, and then Ms. Holland, who has really the most important part in front of Mr. Vincent. So obviously, you know, our principal is Dr. Betsy Votman. And again, like Mr. Vincent said, if there's a name or a contact information that you don't have that you want to jot down, now would be the time to do that. Mr. Willie Vincent, our assistant principal, scheduling guru, and guru of the all-in-one page. There is his contact information. Ms. Hollis, who is also on the call, one of our other assistant principals, her contact information, and she does content and curriculum and does an excellent job with that.
Hello.
Ms. Patricia Maxwell, we call her Trish Maxwell. She is our student support member, and she does all things for student support team, 504s, and she's just a great resource to help support students. And she is also located in the counseling suite where I'm located with the other counselors. So she is a great resource, but if your student does have a 504 and you're getting a little nervous or anxious, be sure you jot her information down as well as mine. Send us an email and we will definitely respond to you with any questions or concerns you might have. Miss Jessica Chittister, she's our special education lead teacher. The same thing goes for her. She's not here tonight, but if your student has an individualized education plan, then it's so very important that you touch base with her and myself. Again, if you will send us an email, we are happy to respond. If you have questions or concerns about the transition, if you're coming from outside the feeder school, and this is something you at one point had in APS and you want to see if it can be resumed, again, this is the initial person and myself as well that you can contact. Miss Melissa Hatcher is our graduation coach. We added a graduation coach this year because we feel what they do is so beneficial and helpful. Miss Hatcher is also located in the counseling suite, as well as Miss Robinson. Miss Hatcher does 9th and 10th grade, and Miss Robinson does 11th and 12th grade. So they split it. And again, this is a support person for our students to aid and assist for tutoring, lunchtime help, and just that extra support that sometimes our students need. Miss Johnson is our school social worker. She does a ton of things within our school. But again, if you need access and you need to know about our school social worker, this is her information. And we have with us, and we will get back to Miss Holland shortly, but Miss Holland is our grand registrar, and she really helps us out tremendously with registration. She is the only registrar for Midtown High School, so her cup runneth over. And me, your counselor. So I will be your student's counselor for 9th grade. Once they complete 9th grade, they move on and they will be split between the other 3 counselors, alphabetical. So I only have them for 1 year, but I do all that I can with them during that first year. Okay, now I'm going to backtrack. So bear with me. I am going to backtrack, because at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Vincent, who is going to start running you through the pathways, the clubs and activities, and all in one page. And one thing I want to say to you regarding this, I will be sending the directions on how to get there, as well as the link to all of the feeder school counselors so that they have access to this. So if you are coming from outside of our feeder pattern, feel free to reach out to me and I will send you the same email that I'm going to send them tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to stop share so that Mr. Vincent can share.
Awesome. And this presentation will be on our all-in-one website. So one thing that we know about life, there are a lot of avenues to get all of us to where we're trying to go. So we're going to show you multiple ways to sort of attain information. The one thing we want you all to do is to really get familiar with the Midtown High School website. Just so do a Google search for Midtown High School Atlanta. All right, to find everything that you need for the rising 9th grade, just go to Parents and Students and choose the option that says Midtown High School New Students page. Now, when we say new students, we're talking all new students. So what you have to do is when you get to the main page, you can scroll down and right there on the left, you'll see Rising 9th Graders website, pathway, elective, selection, and more. And now we're at what Ms. Blevins has called the all-in-one, everything that you might need to help you survive this whole transition to 9th grade. So first thing, and Ms. Holland is going to do a great job of talking about this. And again, when we talk about multiple ways to get to the same information, she's going to show you how to get there through APS's website. For those who would rather just go here, the same information Ms. Holland is going to give you, you can just click the link right here and it'll take you to that registration information for Atlanta Public Schools. So again, multiple roads when we think about pathways. Just like life, just like your children, a whole lot of avenues to get us to where we need to go. So get used to that. Ms. Holland has also drilled this for many years, so we decided to put it on the website that she's going to need your students' actual social security number at some point. We know that for confidentiality and because fear of fraud, We keep those things close to our hearts. But once they get to high school, not having the Social Security number will absolutely obliterate their opportunities to get things like the Hope scholarships and the Zell Miller scholarships. So just go ahead in 9th grade and start trusting her to treat your information with love and care. She does. I promise you, we'll never have access to it. We'll never see it. I can't even bribe her to get it, if I want it. She's that kind of great registrar. So make sure you go with the correct Social Security number. Also, the name. Remember, somewhere in elementary and middle school, I know your child's name is Andrea and she hates it. So they just let you put Trey in the system. When they get to high school, we really need that real name because, again, that creates real problems for college financial aid, creates all kind of problems for diplomas because it's a legal document. So just go ahead and prep your child for 2 things: to accept the fact that she's Andrea, or to get her ready to get her name legally changed. So you have those 2 avenues to get you where you're trying to go. All right, so one thing I want all of you to really look at with all your heart between now and May, no, you really need to look at this, really. How to understand your high school schedule. We included this because this whole ABA thing and C days and credits thing can get to be overwhelming. So parents who look at this generally walk away saying, oh, I understand how you build schedules. So I know what courses to pick to have the best chances of getting my child what he or she wants. So it's a lot of reading, but trust me, I think it'll make this whole process a lot more beneficial for you. Here you have pathway listings and descriptions. So when you click on it, you're going to get a lot of descriptions, a lot of drop downs. So let's just pick one, acting and directing. You notice there's a video along with the description. So most of them should have videos. Now, don't sleep on this new pathway. Construction is brand new. We've been trying to get it for years. Now it's approved. It's so new that we don't have a video. So again, look at all these and help drive your decisions about which pathways you want. Also, the course catalog. We decided that we would try 2 options. You have the traditional course catalog that looks like the course catalog that you remember back in the day. And then we have an experimental version just because we're kind of psychotic over here and we like to do things to make life a little easier for everyone. So you click on them. And again, go to Fine Arts, you get those same drop downs and you'll see descriptions of courses. The thing about this experimental version is it's real time. Once the other catalog is printed, the course is just sort of locked. This one's real time because as we change courses, delete courses, we automatically update the experimental version of the catalog. So definitely look at that. Those of you who need parent portal access, it's on the website as well. So if you're an existing parent, you can get there. If you're a parent who's never had access, there's a link so that you can create your access. Oh, I'm sorry, I left and went to the other website, didn't I? Stay with me, Willie Vincent. This is late night here. All right. AP Human Geography, that 9th grade AP college level course. There's an exhaustive description and you can even click on this link and see a video that the teacher makes about the course. So a real description, and then you can click at the bottom to see the video. All right, I'm opening up a lot of things here, Ms. Hollis. All right. What else is on here to help you? All right, here is that form that you'll be looking for tomorrow evening, the pathway selection form. There was a practice form here, but I decided to shut it down today to keep you from being confused. It will go live tomorrow at 8 p.m. And I do set an alarm so that I don't accidentally forget. So I will be sitting in front of that computer to press that button. Don't stress. Summer Bridge information. We're never sure this early on, but we put it here so that once Ms. Palekia knows what kind of transition activities we have during the summer, we can just put it right here and you can find it. The clubs and organizations page, I think Ms. Hollis and Ms. Palekia together have been doing a great job of updating this page. Clubs and organizations are not static at this school. I think we create a new club, every 15 minutes? Because again, many avenues to get us to where we're going. That's the great thing about Midtown. So when you click on this page, again, you get descriptions, and in most instances, again, a promotional video so that you can actually see and hear what the members say, what the sponsor says. about the club. So definitely look at that, because one thing we want you to do is to be involved. If you're involved in something positive, it looks so much better on your college resume, and it keeps you out of trouble. Let me say that again as the assistant principal. Being positively involved keeps you out of trouble. All right, you got me. All right, so again, course catalogs, infinite campus access. We do want all of you to go ahead now and join the nightly news. That's that weekly newsletter. Everything that happens in this school shows up in the nightly news. So go ahead, click this link, and get yourself signed up to be a part of everything that's happening here at Midtown. So I think that is it. Give us your email address. There are a few frequently asked questions. I think one of them is always, how do you access honors classes? And we tell you that it's tied to your grades, and there's an exhaustive explanation of all of that. So again, go to the Midtown High School website, click on parents and students in the top corner, choose the new students page option, choose ninth graders website, and everything that you will probably need to get you rolling will be at your disposal. So again, hope that helped you. Did I cover everything?
Hey, one thing, Mr. Vincent, can you show the parents where they go to review the honors criteria?
Let's see. When I go down here to these frequently asked questions, how do I give you my email addresses? Is my AP email account real? Honors courses. There it is. So again, the whole idea of having an 85 or better in your content. So for example, if you really want to be in ninth grade honors English, we take the average of your 7th and 8th grade English courses to make sure that you have an 85 or higher. So
okay, we have a couple questions, Mr. Vincent.
Is this time for questions? You want me to ask the questions now? Let me stop. You want me to stop sharing? Or
no, you can keep sharing, because you might want to show exactly where it was. One question was, is everything on the website? And I've already answered yes to that. The next question is about, what is the benefit, and this is for you or Ms. Palekia, of choosing a pathway early, or is there a benefit to choosing it early, or do I just need to do it by the deadline? Is it first come, first serve? I'm glad.
Now that's a great question. I go with the first come, first serve. We are getting a lot of students from a lot of places. So if we ever run out of spaces, unfortunately, I have to go back and look at that timestamp and boom. So yeah, the real benefit, a lot of people will be sitting in front of that computer tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So go ahead and get it in there.
Okay, the next question is about sports. How do I find out information about sports?
Sports, I'm sorry, I completely glossed over it. Notice right here under clubs and organizations. Now the sports page, really, really nice. Yes, everything you need to get connected to sports right here. And again, Coach Johnson's information is surely here somewhere, but every team that we have, every sport, all of that, that's Coach Washington down in the corner, all the schedules. So all of that is in the all-in-one for you right under clubs and organizations.
And I will just say real quickly, Dr. Botman will be sending out a spring mailing that will again have all of the fall sports, because as you know, with the fall sports approaching, they will practice over the summer. So there are certain sports that start practicing. So you want to make sure that you get that your health thing done for sports. You also want to review what we send out in the spring, and that mailing will go out probably in between March and April. We'll try to get that out to you, but that will be just more information again to follow up on registration, athletics, and as well as a letter from Dr. Botman. So just please know that as well. Be looking for that. And if you are outside of our feeder pattern and I don't have your information, please make sure that I do get that.
And I'm glad you brought that question up because I'm talking so fast that I'm leaving out things. Okay, here is the actual Google form so you can see everything that it contains. You're not just choosing pathways. We're sort of sneaky here at Midtown. We try to get everything we can out of you in one squeeze because if we ever get away from us, we'll never get you back. So you choose your pathways, and then of course you choose your world language. Then you go and you choose whether you want AP Human or not. Then you choose, I keep reminding, and I'm gonna keep saying, I did this for Ms. Holland. I keep reminding you that choosing your pathways is not registration. So it's just gonna show up a million times because she ordered me to do that, and we do what Ms. Holland tells us to do. You're gonna choose electives as well, but then as you go through all of this, believe it or not, the math question, in that form, you get to say, I'm interested in this club or organization. So all of it, that's why everything is an all-in-one here. And even after you do that, there's a part here for sports and activities. Where is it? Oh, also, if you see something, if you're interested in something you don't see, we give you a place to sort of tell us what that is. Give us some ideas about what we need to offer. And then sports. When you choose sports in this particular format, I send that information to the athletic director, and the coaches contact you based on what you say in this form. Here's another sinister thing. You're forced to answer questions about parents volunteering. How about that? Isn't that sweet of us? We just give you opportunities and we give you some things that you might want to look at and all of that great stuff. So it's a whole lot of information, but it's all here to help that transition to Midtown. Anything else?
We have questions about, like, do we have a magnet program? And I explained that we do not, but I don't know if you want to add in the signature program.
A college career ready?
Sure. I mean, that's the alternative to the magnet program, I guess, or.
Yes, yeah, we're no longer, we don't have magnet schools anymore, but that communication journalism program that bolstered the magnet program is still very much here in place. The great thing about the modern version of Midtown, we don't just have one premier program. Everything we offer is a premier program. How about that?
You have another question about honors. If they're coming from a private school without traditional grades, how is that child assessed? And I would say that
Ms. Palekia knows that one.
So if they have any type of a grade, we try to take that and apply that. When you say non-traditional, I'm not sure if that means they just have pass or fail. But typically, the school gives us a gauge, usually on that transcript or report card, how to read those. But a lot of times, to be perfectly honest with you, I will reach out to the school and I will specifically ask how to evaluate that so that we get the best read possible.
We do have questions about, will we have football next year?
Allegedly.
Can you put the practice link back up for the practice form?
Put the link back.
That was a request.
Hold on. Because they want to play with it. Okay. I think it's now active. All right, now I'm gonna leave this thing active. Y'all better hope I don't forget to turn this thing off. Okay, it's now active again. How about that? At your request, we're here to serve.
How about,
so then we'll make it,
we'll turn it off like noon tomorrow.
Yeah, it's labeled practice, 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 so they won't mistake it.
Any other questions, Ms. Hollis?
Minimum of 85 for honors classes at the end of 2022.
So, for example, let me just kind
of last semester 2021.
So let me just kind of break that down so that there's a clear understanding of that. And it's typed out where Mr. Vincent took you. But what we do is we look at semester grades in 7th grade. first semester, second semester. We take those 2 grades and then we look at first semester of 8th grade. We average. If it is an 85% or better, the child meets the criteria for an honors course in that content area. What I will say is we will have students that are right on that edge. And at that point, that is a student that we can look at after we get grades for second semester. So there is the possibility if your student doesn't have honors on their schedule, you may want to just shoot me an email and say, he didn't get it. I will explain why. And then what I can do is I will add you to a list that Mr. Vincent and I will check as grades are posted, but not until then. So if they don't meet the criteria initially, they don't get the course on their schedule, but that doesn't mean that they won't if they meet the criteria.
Can you please share information or details regarding world language classes? What if your child is in a world language class at Howard? How does enrollment work?
So the way that works, let's say that they're taking Spanish 1 at Howard, and they have earned a full year, a full credit for Spanish 1. That means when they enter into Midtown, they will be placed into Spanish 2. The graduation requirement is students must have 2 full years of the same language. So that's 2 credits in the same language to meet the graduation requirements. I will tell you that a lot of colleges and universities, depending on what your child plans to do post-secondary, the more competitive universities are beginning to ask and sometimes even require 3 years of a language. But for graduation purposes, it is just 2 full years.
The next question is, is double math, geometry, and algebra 2 every other day in the same semester, or is it one semester of algebra 2 and geometry? If so, how is it done? I did not see it in the practice application. You want me to answer that?
You can, sure.
The double math is every day, and it is one course at a time. So it will be every day algebra 2, first semester, and then every day geometry, second semester. Hopefully that answers the question. If we pick electives, do we pick from the pathway we chose, or are electives different?
It's supposed to be different. This year, I'm going to go with what we've done in the past one more time. I think this will be the last year. Some people just say, I don't want to choose any pathways, and then they go right to the elective and choose 3 pathway electives. It's creating this kind of interesting thought that, well, I don't have a pathway. Well, most classes that you take, visual arts, intro to business, intro to digitech, JROTC, they're all leading the pathways anyway. So there will be this option that says, I don't want any pathways. I'm just going to choose electives. This will be the last year I think we're going to do that, because colleges really look for this kind of synergy and subject matter. You're not going to do well if you're just sort of all over the place. They want to see that you've gotten involved in something and seen it through. So again, even if you just say, well, I don't want to pick a pathway, but I want to be in theater, so I'm going to pick fundamentals of theater as my elective. Well, that's the first course in the pathway. You can always decide at the end of the 9th grade, I hate it so much I don't want to take the second course. It's the same difference. So you'll see a message in the pathway form. If you chose this as a pathway, don't choose this as an elective because it's the same course. So again, just sort of get used to reading it. So it would make it much easier for you if you just go ahead and choose the pathways. Because it's a pathway when you take 3 subjects, like a major, business course 1, 2, 3. It's solely an elective when you just take that one course. by itself. So it's just interesting terminology there.
Okay, you did answer that question. What is a pathway? The next question, I'm gonna do it in two parts. Can you explain the civics versus AP human geography options? And is a child auto enrolled in an honors class or AP class, or does the child need to elect the class?
Okay, so let me address the civics first. So American Government Civics is, in fact, a graduation requirement. It is only a semester-long course. So students who qualify and meet the criteria for AP Human Geography, they can opt to just take AP Human Geography, or, and this is in the pathways, they can elect to take AP Human Geography and the semester of civics. Because at some point they need that civics, unless, but this is way down the road, when they are a junior, and it's hard for them at this point to think, when I am a junior. But if, when they are a junior, they opt to take AP Government and Politics, that AP course will cover the semester of American Government Civics. Now, I just caution you that American Government Civics is a 9th grade class. Your student doesn't want to be a senior taking that 9th grade class at Midtown. So keep that in mind. Also, their interest may diversify and change and alter, and they may want all these other courses and they don't want to deal with that civics. So is it a good idea to kind of knock it out? Yes, but I also understand that's another course semester class that you're adding to your student schedule, and they may not have the room. So the other option is Atlanta Virtual Academy. Once they become a 9th grader, they can take Atlanta Virtual Academy during the fall semester, during the spring semester, or during the summer session. And what this does is, again, it allows your student schedule to be a little more open and have a little more flexibility. And the Atlanta Virtual Academy online platform, it's completely virtual, it's self-paced, it's self-guided. The students have the entire session of a semester fall and a semester spring, or in the summer, it's about a 7-week period. Plenty of time to cover an American Government Civics course. So again, we can give you different options and opportunities. Like Mr. Vincent said, all the different pathways that you can take to get to the end result. So that's that one. The next one was, if they qualify, I will be honest with you, if they qualify for honors courses, we do go ahead and put them in those classes. And the reason that we do that, because we really want our students to reach a bar, to have the opportunities to excel. Now, if you get your student schedule and you see that H on there, there'll be an H. If you see that H and you do not want them in that course, you need to reach out to Mr. Vincent and myself, and we will take your student out of that course. But if they meet the criteria, we do put them in there unless we hear differently from you. So if you get their schedule and you see that H and you just don't feel good about that, please reach out to us immediately so that we can do that and adjust the schedule.
Yes. And use that form that I told you, learning how to read my schedule. I think it gives you an example of what it looks like with the civics and what you can choose with civics, and what it will look like if you're taking AP Human Geography without the civics, because again, you may not have space for it. So.
The question about the AP pathway, is the AP pathway any 3 AP courses?
Yes, in that particular subject area. And I always use the term organically. A lot of people get the advanced courses and the world language pathways organically. So don't think that it's something you have to say, well, I only want to do it. Well, you're probably going to do it because you'll wind up taking AP Stats, AP Cal, AB, and ABB. It's just going to happen naturally through your math sequence. You're going to take 3 years of a world language. Some of you already have 3 years. Welcome to the new world. You've already attained that pathway, but you're going to still need other classes to fill those slots. So yes, AP courses in the same subject area can cover a pathway, but you still have to have 3 other classes to go on that schedule.
Can a student take civics this summer between 8th and 9th grade?
You know, I do believe they can. Do not quote me on that, because ABA has gotten real tricky. They used to let students take math, like an algebra course or a geometry course, but they no longer do that. And so I think we'll know more when the schedule comes out for registration and what they are offering. But that is certainly something that if your student is interested in doing this summer, then they need to reach out to Miss Martin in May, because the registration for the summer session happens about mid-May. So definitely reach out to Miss Martin and inquire if the student can take it, because if they take it over the summer, then yes, that will transfer to us, go right on their transcript, and they've got that half a credit for that course, and it's done.
Do you register for a pathway tomorrow for 9th grade if you are coming from a school outside of APS?
Yes, absolutely. Please go ahead and do that, because your registration will not take place, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Holland, but until June. And that's to be determined, and we will get that information out as soon as the district gets it out to us. But we want you to go ahead and do the pathway so that we have your information. And so then when June rolls around, you get your student's report card, you're able to register. We already have your pathways. We will patch it together with your transcript, your report card from your other school, and we will be able to do a schedule just like that. It saves so much time to get it done. And that's why we do want you to do it. Mr. Vincent, when he starts doing the schedules, he'll say to me, hey, I have this. And then I'll say, yes, I have that student's name. They're coming from outside the feeder. Perfect. So yes, please go ahead and get that done.
Can students coming from out of the cluster fill out the form tomorrow night as well? What if she was a former cluster student in elementary school, so it's in the system?
But because you went outside of the system, you are considered not in APS currently. You must be in APS currently to do the March registration, again, to be determined once the district tells us. But you might be in our system, but because you left APS and you're coming back in, you have to go through the whole thing. And until that, though, you can go ahead and do the pathway so that we have your information. But see, the key component here is you're finishing 8th grade in another district. Students within our district, we can see grades immediately once they roll over to us, but your student that's coming from outside, we can't see that information until you give it to us.
What if they're not in the cluster, but they're in the district?
If they're in the district, yes, they will do the registration during the early registration, the March registration. Absolutely.
ABA and GAVS, hello, I lost the question, opens the calendar in March for summer classes. Not sure the course offerings for summer as of yet. I'm not sure if that was a statement.
I can tell you right now, ABA does not open registration until mid-May for the summer session. GAVS is a totally different entity, and that is not our first choice. Our first choice is ABA because it is directly aligned with Atlanta Public Schools.
Mr. Vincent, can you show the resource that helps them with picking pathways? Or they're asking, is there a resource to help if there is an issue with submitting it?
Okay, I'm not sure you mean submitting the actual form. I'm not sure what that.
Yes.
Is there a resource? Email me quickly.
And can you provide me with the link for them to practice?
Oh, sure. Let's see. So you all gonna be that kind of group. Y'all like to make Mr. Vincent work. Y'all don't realize he's sort of lazy. All right.
For
They
health,
okay.
they are able to do it through Georgia Virtual or ABA this summer to count and get credit. That was a question mark at the end of that.
Yes, please understand, and I will say this to you. There is a fee associated with Georgia Virtual Academy. So I just want to say that if you do it over the summer, there is a fee associated with that. If you do it over the summer through Atlanta Virtual Academy, it is free of charge because you are, as long as you are an APS student, Atlanta Public Schools student, it is free of charge.
Did I put the form in there correctly, Hollis? You know, I don't do cut and paste on Zoom a lot. Is it there?
Yes, I hope I'm getting it. What happens after the pathway application?
Oh, great question. I will email you a couple of times. You're going to get used to these emails that your family and friends have told you about from Mr. Vincent 5 times a week before Wednesday. I will email you something. You should get something from Google that says it's been submitted. My email address is in the form so that you can say, I didn't get the confirmation, and then I will let you know I have it. A couple times I will send you my own version of it to say, look at this. Is this what you still want? Let me know what you want changed. So I'll do that a couple times, time or two, because I know that, decisions are sort of fluid. So just start looking for communication from me.
When should we start registering for school and pathways?
Pathways, as soon as it opens, do it. Get it done so that that's off your plate and we can start, Mr. Vincent will start working on schedules. So the sooner you get the pathways done, the quicker he's going to be able to get to schedule, the actual schedules. As far as registration, again, let me reiterate, if you are within Atlanta Public Schools, you will likely do registration, which Ms. Holland will talk to us about in March. Again, to be determined because the district gives us that information so that everybody is consistent across the district. If you are outside, those dates typically happen in June. And again, the district also assigns those dates and we work within that frame. So as soon as we have those dates, we will send out. But again, within APS, typically in March, outside of APS in June. So Hollis, if we're about done with questions, I want to continue. Can we move on?
You can move on.
Okay. All right. So let me share back up my screen. Okay. So we have gone through our pathways, clubs, and activities. Thank you, Mr. Vincent, for doing an amazing, amazing job. Reminder, it does open at 8:00 tomorrow p.m. And as we keep saying, the pathway selection is not the same as registration, and registration is required. So at this point, I am going to turn it over. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to turn it over to great Miss Holland.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. Again, my name is Shanesta Holland, and I am your registrar here at Midtown High School. So at this time, I would like to take an opportunity to show you where you're going to go and find the required documents that you will need to support your proof of residency and where to submit those documents. So I'm going to share my screen. What do we see? Okay. Okay, so do we see the right screen?
Not yet.
You see it? Okay, so we're gonna go to the Atlanta Public Schools website.
You're still not sharing.
Hey, you're still not sharing, Holland.
Let's see.
There you go.
All right. So we're at the Atlanta Public Schools website. And if you scroll down midway, you will see enrollment and registration. We're going to select that screen. And here you'll see enrollment and registration. What I would like for you to do is to gather all the documents that you need so you'll have everything before you begin the process. So I'm gonna go back some. Registration for families inside of APS. Any APS school will begin roughly around the middle of March. If you see right now, if you go to the Atlanta Public Schools website, it'll say registration for the 21-22 school year. That's why I see questions that say that that they can't. It says that they've already registered. That's because the new school year has not started yet. So where you're going to go is enrollment and registration, and you will see what is current student registration right here, rising 9th grade students. That's where you're going to go and complete your registration. What you need, if you go over to the left side, it'll say rising 6th and 9th graders. Right here, you'll have a video presentation where you can go and it'll give you a tutorial of what you need to do and how you can complete the process. But if you slide down, this is what I want you to do first. I want you to go and gather the documents that you need to submit to provide your proof of residence. Your first document is the affidavit of residency. I need for you to complete this, sign it, and get it notarized. If you reside, I'm going to go into a little bit of detail because what I get is I get documents that are incomplete. And so to make it smoother for you and for me, I'm going to go through just a little bit so we can kind of avoid some of the pitfalls that we see every year. So for the affidavit of residency, I need for you to complete the entire form. I need for you to sign it and have it notarized. If you reside with someone else, that person will sign the bottom and get the bottom notarized as well. So once you finish, you have the affidavit of residency. The next document that we need, these are your actual documents. So everyone has a different living situation. And so usually it's your lease, deed, or mortgage statement, your current Georgia power bill, and the affidavit of residency. If you reside with someone else, you're going to get their lease, deed, or mortgage statement, current Georgia power bill, and then 3 documents to support that you reside with that person. So basically, these are the documents that everyone needs to provide. Every rising 9th grade coming to Midtown has to provide this before they will get a schedule in May. So I'm going to say that one more time so everyone is on the exact same page. For students who are currently in APS, registration will open mid-March. I don't have an exact date yet, but it will be mid-March. If you are currently outside of the district, we usually begin the Tuesday after Memorial Day. That's when you will be able to submit your documents. I need for everyone to understand, you will not get a schedule unless and until you provide complete proof of residency. And I have one more request, that you submit all of your documents at the same time. What happens is someone will send me a Georgia power bill and they say, well, I submitted the documents. Yeah, you did submit a Georgia Power bill, but I didn't get your lease deed or mortgage statement. I need complete documents before I can check you off as complete. So let's just say your situation is a little different and you don't fall neatly into one of these situations. That's fine. Give me a call and we'll work it out together. So don't stress. I don't want you to stress over it. I just need if you have a problem, just give me a call. We'll figure it out. So and then the other thing, I need your photo ID because I need to know who you are. So basically, your documents in a nutshell: lease deed or mortgage statement, current Georgia Power bill, signed and notarized affidavit, and your photo ID. That is it. Let's say you're inside of APS and after we get your folder from your previous middle school, and I see that I don't have your social security card, or as Mr. Vincent said earlier, you've been calling your child Madeline the whole time, but her real name is Mary Elizabeth. Her legal name is Mary Elizabeth. That's what she will be until we get a legal name change for the student. We'll call her whatever you want. You can call her whatever you want. However, we need the student's legal name on all the documents until we get a legal name change document. So those are the documents that you need. And then we're going to go back. So once you gather all your documents, you're going to go back and then submit them via the online registration process. Let's just say you can't submit it, you have technical problems, you don't know how to do it, whatever the situation is. You can email your documents to me via an email that I've set up just for registration. We'll put it on the website, but I've named it Midtown High School Records at aps.k12. And that way, that'll give you an alternative if you're having problems using the online registration application. But let me just say, the online application process is the preferred way, because if you send it to me via my email, then I have to do it manually and it slows the process down. So I understand if you can't, but if you can, I really would appreciate it if you would process it through the online application. And the only reason why I'm saying that is we're going to have approximately 300 incoming ninth graders. And then I'm going to have another 100 or so incoming kids. So those are a lot of applications to process manually. And it just would make it faster if you could use the online registration process. And if you have problems, like I said, you can call me, you can email me. I may not answer you between 8 and 4, but I'll get to you. So I think I have answered or covered everything that you need for registration, and I will start taking questions at this time.
Just a correction, Holland. I know you were just wishful thinking there were 300 and then
I
maybe
know it's gonna be a little bit more, but
so we definitely will have more. So please, what Ms. Holland is asking is just for ease and to expedite the process for everybody concerned.
Yeah. So questions at this point? I'm gonna stop sharing.
They were asking about the documents. Are they submitted online? I did say submitted online. This one question is, if we have not included a social security card previously on our student file, do you want a copy of the social security card during registration?
Yes, please.
And this is a great time. Now, Ms. Holland, help me understand the Infinite Campus side. This is a great time to update your parental email addresses. Can they do that on their end?
That's why it's so important to use the online registration process, because you can go through and you can update your email address, your contact, your emergency contact numbers, and it's easier because sometimes I have a difficult time deciphering handwriting. So it's easier and much better if you can type it in, as opposed to me trying to figure out, is that an 8 or a 9? Is that an E or an F? And then I can't call you because I can't figure out what your phone number is. So you can update all of that online.
Yes.
What about immunization documents? How do they submit the immunization form?
They can submit all of that via the online application as well, or they can email it directly to me. But again, students who are inside of APS, we typically have that information. It should be in your permanent record folder already. And if it is not, you will be contacted when we audit your folder. So, but the most important documents are proof of residency. Everything else, we will audit and contact you.
And keep in mind, not getting a schedule is phase one. The second phase is potentially losing all of your classes because your seats are premium. And for students who are just not registered and whose parents refuse to go through the process, you lose it. I mean, you lose your AP Human Geography, you lose your engineering seat. Just don't do that to your child, because that's devastating to walk in August and see this schedule that you don't recognize and all these classes that you didn't pick. Don't do that to your kids.
And here's the other thing. Let's just say the portal opens March 15th. You have an entire month, because what's going to happen if I don't receive the information by April 22nd, I don't have enough time to process all of the late documents in order for you to get a schedule in May. And once we get to May 5th, we're going to deactivate the schedules, and then it's going to take some time to reactivate them once I get the proof of residency. So if you're in Atlanta Public School System already, when the portal opens mid-March, go ahead, submit your documents so I can get them all processed by April 22nd.
Sorry, I'm trying to answer questions. Just with the timeline, wanted to verbally say, yes, you are doing your pathway selection first, and then you're registering for school second. Pathway selection forms are necessary now because we have to staff for next year. And if we don't start staffing until after March, then we're going to lose premium teachers during that time. Are pathways necessary for graduation?
They're preferred, not required. I mean, the way we talk about them, we want you to at least have one. But again, colleges and post-secondary opportunities, they look to see, again, if you followed some path. A few years ago, the counselors illuminated something of which I was not aware. We had a number of students to apply at UGA, Georgia Tech. I remember that. They had taken, 15 AP classes in high school. They didn't get in. They picked the students who had done theater for 4 years, theater tech. They picked the students who had done the healthcare pathway for 3 years, and then they did that internship that last year. So colleges and post-secondary opportunities bask in those students who took an opportunity to follow a pathway somewhere. So again, it's not all about GPAs, I guess, and AP courses. It's getting involved in something and sort of seeing it through. So we do hope that you do. Now, again, you're going to have an interesting schedule trying to piecemeal PEs and writers' workshops and enough thing. When you look at that explanation of how we build our schedules with these 8 classes and you look at it in detail, you're going to have a tough time for 4 years trying to cut and paste. And you're going to have 4 PE classes on the same day and you're going to be screaming that's too many, but you're not involved in anything else. I don't want writer's workshop, Mr. Vincent. I'm sorry, it's the only thing that's offered that period for a person who doesn't have a pathway. The people who have the pathways, I promise you from the scheduling side, it's easier to build the schedules and give them exactly what they want. The students who are the most frustrated are the ones we try, but they're the ones, they don't want to take a world language anymore because they've already got those credits. They don't want to take a pathway. They don't want to do anything. So what are we supposed to do with you? So yeah, get involved in the pathway.
Ms. Holland, correct me if I'm wrong, every student has to re-register for school when transitioning from middle school to high school, regardless of the cluster?
Correct.
And that is required across that is a district mandate that all 9th graders must go through the registration process, whether you're in APS or you're outside of APS. 9th grade is that grade.
It's 6th grade, 9th grade, and any student who moved they're required to provide updated proof of residency.
How do you send documents in Infinite Campus or in their account? On Infinite Campus, if our account is not linked to Midtown?
What you're going to do when you say not linked, it says not linked. So I'm going to take the liberty and just say they're in another district, they're in another
I don't think so.
cluster.
I think this parent is in the.
I know what they're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and submit your resident. So let's just say you currently attend, your student currently attends Young Middle School. So your high school is going to say Mays. And when that Mays registrar sees your application, they're going to send it to me. And because the information that you're sending is not going to be zoned for Mays, it'll be zoned for Midtown. So what we do is we work in tandem to say, hey, this is your student and not mine. So you just go ahead, submit your lease deed mortgage statement and affidavit, and then I will get the application. But the other thing you can do is once you submit it, you will get a confirmation and an application number. Email me and say, hey, I have submitted my application. I'm coming from Young, the zone school is Mays, and I will see your application and I can process it. It makes it easier for you and for me.
Does the confirmation number make it easier for you? Because this is difficult to search by name.
The confirmation number makes it easier for me.
And Ms. Pilecki, can you change the slide to Ms. Holland's contact information while she's answering that question?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Oh, went too far.
I think that's all. I did already answer in chat that we are not an IB school. Someone was asking about information on IB.
Okay, so if there aren't any more questions.
Is AP Human Geo honors social studies? If so, is your child auto enrolled or?
No,
you can select
AP is very different from honors. AP, you have to select that you want that. With honors, remember I said, if you meet the criteria, we put you in. But for AP, you must put on the pathway forms that you have interest in that course. Then the second component is if you meet the criteria, then you are placed into AP Human Geography, but you must select it. You are not automatically placed into that course. If you tell us you don't have, if you don't check that you have interest, then we are not going to schedule you for AP Human Geography.
That's the criteria is in the pathway selection form as well as on the website, but I'm sure it's the 85 average in both combined ELA and social studies classes, 7th and 8th grade, up through the first semester of this school year.
Okay, I misspoke, Ms. Holland, about that other question. They attend a APS school or an APS school. It doesn't sound like Howard. So I guess they're trying to make sure if their information is loaded, how would you get it?
I will still see it. If you, like I said, once you complete the application and you receive your application number, email me the number and I will process it. That's the easiest way and fastest way. Just email me directly.
I think we're done.
Okay, so we are going to move quickly to this right here. I was asked to please share this with my rising 9th grade parents, because we do, like Mr. Vincent said, it's so important that we still have involvement at the high school level. A lot of times parents think, oh, you know, my child's in high school, I'm just going to pull out. No, we want you to still be involved. And so this is another way to get involved with the PTSO nominating committee. And you can see the information right here so that you have access to it. Okay. And then this is a repeat of that slide, just a little prettier. Right? So you get to see it twice. It is much prettier with the picture.
Indubitably.
And we can tell which one Miss Palakia did and which one Miss Hollis did. So, and this is our beautiful school. So we are so excited about having your freshmen attend Midtown High School. We look forward to continuing to partner and work with you and with your students. And we look forward to seeing them next August. And if you have anything that you need to reach out to myself, Mr. Vincent, Ms. Holland, Ms. Hollis, whatever, we are here to aid and assist. But our main goal is to transition your students into Midtown High School as painless and as seamless as possible so that they get started and love being in high school, which is our goal. So without further ado, if there's nothing else, we greatly appreciate you guys being here. I hope it has been informative for you all. And like I said, we look forward to seeing you. Anything else, Mr. Vincent, that you want to say that I didn't cover?
One of those things that just, look out for. Give me valid email addresses on all forms, those Google forms. Students love to put in that erroneous that APS email address that they think is their email address. If your child has never checked email in APS, chances are they're using the wrong address. So use Gmail, use Hotmail. Always use email addresses that you and your children check. Now, your children are coming to high school, so I expect to see some student emails in some of these fields too. Now, I know parents, we like to sort of govern the process, but this is where children's voices start to matter. And I always tell parents, I'm going to email all the information to you and to your children on those email addresses that you give me. Now, there will be times when your children will email me directly and ask for a change. You want them in engineering, but they want band. So we want them to with, you know, hey, bit merchant engineer, and you trying to live your dreams to these children. We get it. So what I do is I go to that form, I'll respond to them, and I'll blind copy you. How about that? Because it gives the child some sense of I'm empowered to sort of ask Mr. Vincent. So that way, when you see it blind copied, you can sort of say, how things going with your family? So so just make sure you're giving active email addresses. Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Thank you, guys.